All right, this is a 2-year-old named Creeks Rey that it's a pretty natural horse. He's probably our best cutting prospect that we've got going right now. He's by dual Rey and out of a mare named Kittens, and he's got a lot of really natural stop and draw. So I've really enjoyed riding him. We're going to work some cattle on him this morning, but I just want to start out nice and quiet.
Creeks Rey is by dual Rey and out of a mare named Kittens. Creeks Rey is probably the most natural cow horse that I've ever had the chance to ride. But my goal with him is the same as with all the young colts that I ride, and that's to try to stay out of their way as much as I can and let them do their job.
I'd like to see him just sort of relax and put his head down and step those feet around. That was pretty nice. Go back the other way a little bit. You'll see that this colt is in the snaffle bit, and the way I see it, the snaffle bit has one purpose, and that's to get a horse to following his nose or following your feel. Get his nose to follow your feel. It's a device that operates from a direct pull. In other words, when I pull on the right rein, it applies pressure to the left side of his mouth. I mean, I know I'm stating the obvious there, but that's what I use the snaffle bit for, is just to get that nose of the horse coming and getting his front feet to follow that nose. Because when I can get control of his nose and his front feet, then we can really go to working a cow. And essentially, that's all a cutting horse needs to do, is to follow that cow with his nose. So that's what I like to do. I just work on the fundamentals. I'm no cutting horse trainer at all, but when I've got a good one, I feel like I need to sort of do things the right way. So see if he'll follow that nose right around right there, and that's pretty darn good. Okay. So I'm going to trot him around a little bit and trot him and lope him around and try to get the fresh off of him. He's not super fresh, but I'm going to go ahead and move him around a little bit.
So in order to keep myself out of trouble with these young horses, I've got 5 principles that I try to stick to when it comes to training, okay? I call them the 5 principles for effective horsemanship. They go like this: start quiet, end quiet, get the fresh off, find the resistance, be willing to compromise, and always quit on the try. Okay, those things are real important, and right here it's time to get the fresh off of this colt. Okay, so today we've got a couple of weanling fillies that we need to get on the trailer to take to town so that the vet can draw blood on them so that they can run Coggins tests. We've sold these fillies and they've got to go to Texas. So, you know, in order to do that, you've got to have a current Coggins and a health certificate in order to be legal to be on the road. So these fillies have just been weaned about a week or so. They're not really halter broke. They're just kind of started and they're a little squirrely. So I'm going to show you how I will go about handling these fillies and getting them on the trailer safely and quietly so that I don't create any problems with them. And then we can haul them to the vet, and that'll be their first, loading on the trailer and getting hauled around a little bit, and hopefully it's going to get them accustomed enough so that they can ride to Texas without any real incidents. So, okay, so here's the filly. And I said that this filly wasn't super halter broke, but all of our horses lead very good from day one. We very rarely have any problems because I pony all of our weanlings horseback. And I found that that's by far the best way to get a weanling broke, to lead to the halter. They just, after we pony them horseback, with very few exceptions, we just don't have horses that rear up and pull back even when they're tied. We can usually go straight from taking them off their mama, putting the halter on them, pony them around a little bit, and then tie them up or lead them around with very, very few problems at all. I got to tell you, we're really blessed to have the selection of stallions that we do here at Creek Plantation. It affords us the opportunity to deal with some outstanding young horses. And these fillies are sired by 2 of our best, okay? The one is sired by Cataloo. Cataloo's the son of Highbrow Cat out of a mare named Luella again, and Cataloo just won tons and tons in the show pen. And then this other filly is by Splasha Gin, who was an own son of Tanqueray Gin, one of the very few breeding sons of Tanqueray Gin still out there. We have a very high opinion of both of these stallions, and we really look forward to their young stock every year. You can see that I've backed the trailer down in a hole so that the back of the trailer is kind of low to the ground. I want to set this up for success and make it to where this horse doesn't really have any impediments, you know, as far as getting on the trailer goes. She's already checking it out, and so I'm just gonna let her smell it. There's horse poop on there from the last few horses that we took. Honest to goodness, this filly's never been on a trailer before, so I don't really know what to say about that. Well, now that was a lot easier than I expected. It never ceases to amaze me how far you can go with these horses when you let their curiosity take over.
It's pretty good. I'll let him straighten up and stop. Draw just a hair. Go the other way.
Now, for a guy like me that's just bounced around on old ranch horses his whole life, it's a real treat to get to ride something like Creeks Rey.
It's all pretty good. He's kind of softened up, so let him stop right there. And so he's not feeling real free in his front end this morning, so I'm just gonna got him warmed up a little bit. So now I'm just going to do a couple little exercises here to get his front end kind of freed up. Because when I go to working a cow, all I really want to have to do is just take this inside rein and bring his nose with that cow. And so I don't need any resistance right there. I need him to be soft in the face and free with those front feet where he can be ready for anything, and he can step them around and put them wherever they need to go without sort of getting tangled up and clogged up. So
now this is where principle number 3 comes into play. Find the resistance, okay? It's important that we find the resistance because that's how we pinpoint a horse's weaknesses so that we can help him through it and help him build confidence, all right? I find that it's best not to come into the training pen with any sort of agenda, okay? But rather just meet the horse where he is. That way you can help him through the places where he's struggling.
I need this inside foot to come to the right. When I take that right rein, that right front foot needs to step to the right. Okay, and what he likes to do is brace up this rib cage, and he steps forward with that foot, and then he steps behind with his left foot. I need him to pick up that right foot, step to the right, okay, and then follow in a natural fashion with the left foot. Okay, the right foot goes here and then the left foot comes forward. When he's out in the pasture and he needs to turn around and go get a drink of water, he doesn't step forward with his inside foot and then step behind with his outside foot and get his legs all tangled up to go turn around and get a drink of water. No, he looks where he's going to go first, then he starts with his nose, then he rocks his weight back on his hind end, then he steps his inside foot over, and then his outside foot comes over across in front of that inside foot. So that's all I'm looking for out of him here, okay? And I know that when I get that I've got a nice free horse that understands what I'm asking him to do, and he's doing it willingly, okay? And when I go to work a cow, that's all I'm looking for. Is I just want him to follow that cow with his nose nice and light, and then turn around as if he was doing it on his own, right? So we'll just kind of do a few more of these exercises here, get him sort of freed up, okay? And you'll notice that I'm not drawing him back. I'm not stopping him real deep and drawing him back right now. We're going to get to that Right now we're working on getting this front end freed up. And I do that by just changing directions. And I try to do it the same way that he does it. I try to look where I'm going, start with my shoulders, my upper torso, and just take him where we're going, okay? Let's hit this stop. And then I hustle his feet out of that turn so that that's how he starts to understand that he should be adding speed. Okay, after he comes out of the ground and that cow turns and goes that way, he needs to pick it up and go on and go. And that's gonna speed him up in the turn without me having to speed him up in the turn. I don't like to have to go over here and put my outside leg in a horse to try to push him through that turn because it distracts him. I really just need one cue to get him through that turn, which is the pull. And then they can add speed themselves, all right? I'm just gonna do a couple more of these right here. That one wasn't real good, so I'm gonna add a little bit of draw right there and then let him come through. And you'll see that I give him a complete release when he comes through. Okay, that's the fourth principle in action right there. All right, being willing to compromise keeps us from overtraining and making our horses sour. It's really all about letting them win. Very, very light pressure. She releases it on her own. She's licking and chewing. That's great. I've got all of her attention. She's not screaming at these other horses anymore. Won't surprise me if she does, and if she does, it's perfectly fine. We're just going to ignore it, but I like the fact that I've got all of her attention right now. I'm just going to step back here and give her a little more room if she thinks that she needs more room to get on here. Just going to stand here. I'm not going to get in a hurry. If this takes an hour, that's okay. It's perfectly all right with me. I'll just relax. I'll let her know that I'm relaxed, you know. Now that Cataloo filly couldn't have been any easier, but it looks like this cute little Splash filly is going to be a little more cautious. If she goes back, she just runs into the lead rope. And since I've ponied this filly, and I only ponied her the one time, she knows not to put too much pressure on that lead rope. It's just there's something about ponying them with another horse that just takes all of the pulling and the snatching out of these horses. They're very confident with that lead rope, with the pressure of the halter. And I never have to pull on them very much or very hard, you know. I feel like most of the problems that horses have with the trailer stem from the fact that people want to get them loaded too quickly. They really just want to rush them into it. A wise old horseman told me one time, if you ever feel like you're going too slow, slow down. So now what I'm going to do, she already knows that she can get up here. So now I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure to the lead rope and ask her to get up here. I haven't asked her yet. There, that's really good. And when she puts a foot up there, I just release it. That's perfect right there. It could not possibly be any better. She's confident that the floor is going to hold her. And now when she backs out, she's going to back into the pressure of the lead rope. Maybe it's 2 pounds of pressure. Maybe. There, she's adding a little bit more. I'm just going to let it slide through my hand. Okay, I'm wearing a glove, so it's no big deal. Not going to add any more pressure. She's just backing into it. Same amount of pressure. She was perfectly fine with it when it was her idea, right?
So I have to continue to let her think that it's her idea to get on this trailer. I'm not going to pull her on. I'm just going to apply pressure till she steps up. That's all. And she's already very familiar with all this. Just going to remain relaxed. There's where the knot in my lead rope comes in handy.
All right, now there's a good soft feel that we can work with.
So now I'm just going to apply a little bit more pressure. See if I can get these back feet to move closer to the trailer. Well, there, I was going to be satisfied with less than that, but she went ahead and got up here, so that's perfect.